You want some advice, Baker? Go back home to the beach, man. This ain't the place for you. Come back when you've left a letter.
Working through government entities and in the field of world education, they guide scientific research to further their own ends and present the biggest lie of all time, a globe Earth.
In the headline, they point out that this is Apollo up in this picture up here, led by Aurora, the Greek goddess of the dawn, suggesting that Trump sees himself the mold of Apollo, Zeus's son, one of the most powerful of the gods.
Wake up! Wake up! Come on, Chad!
The necessity to change public conception from an accurate belief in a flat, enclosed Earth to a false belief grew slowly. With sapient baby steps, the whole world would become amenable to the final delusion of an alien invasion under the first woe. Operation Paperclip smuggled hundreds of Nazi scientists, including top SS officers on trial for war crimes, into the United States for use in America's Cold War space race. One of these Nazi Party members, Werner von Braun, was promoted to head up NASA's Marshall Space Flight Center.
Donald's great-grandparents, Christian Johannes Trumpf and Katharina Kober, had sons, Christian Frederick Trumpf and John G. Trump. Donald's great-grandmother, Katharina Kober, was of Jewish descent. The surname Kober is German and Ashkenazic Jew, a name derived from the personal name Jacob or Yaakov. Donald's grandparents lived in the Karlstadt, Pfalz Rhineland area where they lived in Germany comprised of Jewish communities from Mainz, Speyer and Worms. Germany became the center of Jewish life during medieval times. Donald Trump's daughter Ivanka and his two grandchildren are Jewish. Ivanka Trump converted to Judaism before marrying Jared Kushner, the son of New York Jewish real estate mogul Charles Kushner. She studied for her Orthodox conversion with Rabbi Haskell Lookstein of Manhattan's Teilat Jeshurun Synagogue, and the same Rabbi Lookstein officiated her wedding. Trump and Kushner are members of Lookstein's Orthodox Synagogue and are Shabbat observant.
Thank you so much. I want to thank my Jewish daughter. I have a Jewish daughter.
Jared Kushner is now inside his company headquarters with his parents for their regular Tuesday business meeting. Just like the Trumps, this is very much a family affair. It's all about loyalty and sticking together.
NASA became the public face of space. It has long acted as a front providing an unsuspecting world with pseudoscience legitimized by the backing of the U.S. government. NASA is its own monopoly. It controls the dissemination of public information on astronomy while hiding facts it does not want the public to know. While many countries and universities have observatories, always it is the statements, photographs, and discoveries of NASA that make the news headlines.
Okay, thank you very much. For almost 6 decades, NASA's work has inspired millions and millions of Americans to imagine distant worlds and a better future right here on Earth.
The Vatican Observatory is one of the oldest astronomical institutes in the world. And yet, where are the photographs? Where are the news releases of the latest discoveries? Precisely what have the Jesuit astronomers been doing for the last 500 years? Only they know.
What that means is, in preparation for that world government, the Roman Catholic institution, especially since the establishment of the Jesuit Order in 1541, throughout all these 500 years, they've been in preparation, and through infiltration and penetration of every level of society in order to take over the world.
The plans for the New World Order are taking shape and are in effect right now. You can't deny this any longer. It's happening. The people that run everything are indeed Freemasons, and even worse, many of them are up at the very top of the pyramid. Trump is one of them. At the very top, in my honest opinion, lies the Vatican, run now by Jesuits. In the last several years, we've all watched the Jesuits slowly take over everything.
The purpose for this intricate, multi-layered deception is to deceive the world's masses and create a desired outcome.
At first it was CERN, and then it was the Lucifer telescope, and then it was the Vatican, and now finally it seems that they have their man in the White House right now. For those that have never read the Jesuit Oath, it's quite...
Fordham University, a Jesuit school in the Bronx.
I don't even know how to explain it. It's quite disparaging. Let's call it that. I furthermore promise and decree that I will, when opportunity present, make and wage relentless war, secret or openly, against all heretics, Protestants, and liberals. I am directed to do so, to extirpate and exterminate them from the face of the whole earth, and that I will spare neither age, sex, or condition, and that I will hang, waste, boil, flay, strangle, and bury alive these infamous heretics, rip up the stomachs and wombs of their women, and crush their infants' heads against the wall in order to annihilate forever their execrable race.
Francis, the eighth and final pope, steps forward to negotiate this faux peace. A Jesuit, he has come under the direct control of demons by way of the spiritual exercises of Ignatius Loyola. Francis has previously ensured he has sympathetic ties with all religions, thus will be the logical choice as mankind's representative to establish a peace treaty with these invaders from outer space.
The vision and future planning of the United States And the restructuring of the globe into a new world order is not limited to any particular US president, since globalism is a goal that may span 25 years plus. The maximum two-term limit of a US president is about 8 years. This is the reason why there are men in the shadows who steer national and foreign policy in a certain direction. The globalists work through groups such as the Bilderberg Group, the Council on Foreign Relations, the Club of Rome, and the Vatican, which has insinuated itself as the New World Order religion, but encompassing all religion through interfaith.
That when the same cannot be done openly, I will secretly use the poisoned cup, the strangulating cord, the steel of the poniard, or the leaden bullet, regardless of the honor, rank, dignity, or authority of the person or persons, whatever may be their condition in life, either public or private, as I at any time may be directed to do so by any agent of the Pope or superior of the Brotherhood of the Holy Faith of the Society of Jesus.
JFK did many things contrary to the objectives of the deep state and the Vatican. He wanted to de-escalate involvement in Vietnam, dismantle the Federal Reserve, stated he wanted to smash the CIA into 1,000 pieces, and to his detriment made a speech that greatly displeased the Vatican about the subject of separation between church and state. JFK was essentially a New World Order nonconformist who had to be eliminated.
And they had a king over them, which is the angel of the bottomless pit, whose name in the Hebrew tongue is Abaddon, but in the Greek tongue hath his name Apollyon.
You see, on the wall here, the centerpiece is Apollo.
It really, over the course of history, hasn't mattered which of the candidates has won, because the candidates have always both been in the same bloodlines. Here are the American presidential bloodlines. Here's another page that explains this. Did you know all 44 US presidents have carried European royal bloodlines into office? 34 have been genetic descendants of just one person, Charlemagne, the brutal 8th century king of the Franks. Now, that's a fascinating story, because Charlemagne is, of course, the one who was crowned emperor of the Roman Empire, the new Roman Empire, and the Pope was crowning him whilst his kingdom was falling apart. So he's a symbol of this unity of the world under one leadership, the papacy.
Once again, it is Apollo, riding in his chariot across the heavens.
Revelations is coming to pass. Damascus will be a ruinous heap, and people don't even seem to notice it. They've conditioned the masses so well with their fake, fraudulent wars, their false flags in the Middle East, that people don't even realize that yesterday, the 100th anniversary of the start of World War I, a series of wars prophesied by the Freemason Albert Pike, was begun yesterday by the Freemason Donald J. Trump, who are both beholden to the Jesuit Vatican. And for some reason, after doing the videos today, my mind wandered back to this so-called image from NASA. Now, simply looking at this image, you can see that this is clearly and nothing more than a marble. This isn't an actual photograph. And I know all the UFO guys have jumped all over it because you can't believe in God, but believing in little green men is so much easier. It makes so much more sense, right?
Catholics are an important part of the American story. America has been strengthened by hardworking Catholics. From New York to California, the Catholic story is truly unique, and it's a great story. From marching for civil rights to educating millions of children, serving the poor, and helping define the pro-life movement, clergy and lay Catholics across the country have made countless contributions to the American success and the American success story. Washington politicians have been hostile to the church. They have been hostile to Catholics. They have been hostile to the members of Catholicism. My administration will stand side by side with the American Catholics to promote the values we all share as Christians and Americans. God bless you. God bless the United States of America. We will make America great again.
The irrefutable connection to the Jesuit order of the Vatican has been buried under a mountain of frivolous information. Statements from Lincoln himself have been omitted that tell of his anxiety towards an unseen battle with the Pope. Charles Quinniqui, a close friend of President Lincoln, was a disillusioned Catholic priest who had left the Catholic Church and become a Presbyterian minister. He confirmed that the Vatican was behind the Confederate cause, the death of President Lincoln, and that Lincoln's assassins were faithful Roman Catholics ultimately serving Pope Pius IX.
And then if we go to Edward III of England, in fact, the presidential candidates with the most royal genes has won every single American election. Now, it seems as if Trump and Hillary had exactly the same lineage, so it didn't really matter which one of the two won. This information comes from Burke's Peerage, which is the Bible of aristocratic genealogy based in London. Every presidential election in America since and including George Washington in 1789 to Bill Clinton has been won by the candidate with the most British and French royal genes. Of the 42 presidents to Clinton, 33 have been related to two people, Alfred the Great, King of England, and Charlemagne, the most famous monarch of France. So it goes on. 19 of them are related to England's Edward III and has 2,000 blood connections to Prince Charles. The same goes with the banking families in America. George Bush and Barbara Bush are from the same bloodline, the Pierce bloodline, which changed its name from Percy when it crossed the Atlantic. Percy is one of the aristocratic families of Britain to this day. They were involved in the gunpowder plot to blow up Parliament at the time of Guy Fawkes. Now that's even more fascinating, because that was a Jesuit plot to overthrow the Protestant government in the United States.
The founders of the CIA, which replaced the OSS, Office of Strategic Services, were Alan Dulles, a Knight of Malta, Harry Truman, a Freemason, and William J. Donovan, who was also a Knight of Malta. Every director of the CIA has had some connection to the Jesuit order, through either a secret society, a Jesuit priest, or a Jesuit education.
Particular little issues, 16 years before this presidential election, they showed their character in the same dress as Hillary Clinton would be wearing, including the necklace, including the earrings.
And why is it the Pope and the head of the Russian Orthodox Church, Patriarch Kirill, why are they so suddenly interested in everything that's going on in Antarctica? Well, because everyone's sound asleep.
Wake up! Wake up! Come on, Chad!
These sculptures that are all over the world, and they're called Awakening, and it's all enormous people climbing out of the ground. It again leads me to believe that these people are freezing, can't move at all, trapped under ice. A little song by Metallica that just reminds me of this stuff. But I mean, these were all over the place. Giant structures climbing out of the ground. I got to tell you, I mean, you can think what you want, you can say what you want, but there was giants in the Bible, and there was giants found all over the world, bones of at least. So I'm not going with aliens. It makes it's I think it's comical to think that little green men are flying around. They're coming here and hiding from us all the time. Let me tell you what, if you can fly from one solar system to another, if all that math is correct, you don't have to hide when you get here. There's no need of it. None whatsoever. These things are nothing except what they've always been. They're angels and demons, and these guys are trying to free them.
This comes from the year 2000, and they show Trump in his red tie and his jacket between the flags, and this happened in reality. So they're pretty accurate.
CERN is trying to open a portal because NASA cannot go up. They can only go up a little bit, and they slip up and say it all the time, low Earth or orbit. I don't think CERN's going to try to attach to Saturn, and unlock anything. Saturn not as a planet as we know it. I think CERN's trying to kick out the side door, and these guys want to get into another dimension before they have to pay the piper.
That Trump, that's in 2000, greeting the people in Trump Towers, going down the escalator, raising his hand, and again he has the red tie and the suit on. And reality, 2015, Trump greeting the crowds, going down the escalator of Trump Towers. I mean, it's pretty accurate.
But listening to the articles and this thing that suddenly popped up out of nowhere, no one had ever heard of it, perhaps, in my opinion, they're trying to melt the ice and release the fallen ones. It's the only thing that makes any sense when you think about the Pope, John Kerry, astronauts, the people that have gone out there and visited, Kirill, all these people that have visited this area, for what reason?
Psychologists stated in theatlantic.com that Donald Trump has personality traits of narcissism, disagreeableness, and grandiosity. These personality traits seem undesirable. In many respects, it is a safeguard from the tyranny of the establishment and the men in the shadows. If you look at those removed from power, like Saddam Hussein, Muammar Gaddafi, as well as leaders whom the US wants to remove, like Assad and Putin, they all have one thing in common. They are independent thinkers, not willing to be a sock puppet for globalists, unlike Hillary Clinton.
These guys don't get off their asses unless they're going to be able to take more power or kill people. JMO. And you know I'm right on that. So it's very, very tough to figure out what this entire thing's about. Again, UFOs. I mean, I can't imagine that anybody's been on YouTube as long as some certain channels and they're still running around talking about UFOs. Every single solitary book speaks about things like Vermont, ancient flying machines. And the reason I think that these were more than quite real is because we still have hieroglyphics with what looks like a jet plane from the side. I mean, that is an Apache helicopter. So there's that. And this looks like a land speeder from Star Wars. You know what I'm saying? And then this, the Vimana, or the depiction of one, looks exactly like the Nazi bell. And we all know that the Nazis were into the Vril Society and other things of dark arts, hence the swastika, the sun symbolism. I personally believe that.
Well, the purpose is what the Roman Catholic system has all the time as her own purpose, is to infiltrate, to penetrate all the areas of life where the Roman Catholic can have control and access for the coming world government.